Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to 21 Next on Friday, January 9th. We're talking about a pretty crazy story, a man who is storing human remains in Ephrata. He has been charged now, and now we know more about him because of a search warrant. So I want to bring in Lily Sexton, who actually went through that search warrant today and can share more details with us. Lily, what did you learn about the case after going through the search warrant, about the storage of the remains, the sale of the remains? What can you tell us?
So the search warrant really broke down all the evidence that they had against him leading up to when they were able to actually enter his home. And they said that he was going to the cemetery, which he robbed outside, is accused of robbing outside of Philadelphia multiple times. It was not just on one occasion did he steal all these bodies. He was going back. They also described all of the evidence that he was leaving on the scene at each time, some of it being DNA evidence like cigarette butts and energy drinks that he left behind, other times tools that he left behind that he was potentially using to break into the cemetery and actually steal things in the grave. They also broke down evidence they had against him in terms of what he was posting on social media. They said that he was likely also selling body parts according to the document. They found Facebook posts that included people thanking him for the human skin bag that they
Oh,
purchased
wow.
from him, as well as they also described all of the items that they found, in like hundreds of skulls in addition to two torsos that he's accused of stealing from that cemetery.
And Lily, you mentioned that some of them were sold, but some of them weren't. Do you know more about that? How specifically those were sold, if they were sold online or how that happened?
They have evidence with his Cash App that he was using his Cash App most likely to for the sales and purchases of the body parts. We don't know exactly how much he sold online, but we do, according to the documents at least, think that he wasn't just robbing the graves and keeping everything. He was also turning it into a business and selling some of the items.
Wow, yeah, interesting. And so we know that there's no real motive at this time, but I want to bring in Maxine Rose because she dived a little bit deeper today to learn more about Jonathan Gerlach and about what we know about him leading up to this. So Maxine, what can you tell us? I know that you've been in the neighborhood of his Ephrata home where some of these remains were stored. What did you learn?
Yeah, Alex. So I spoke with a person who claims to have been, a close friend of Jonathan Gerlach. He says he hasn't spoken with him in roughly, 5 to 8 years. He says he can't really remember, but he spent a lot of time, especially in his youth, in a band, in his teens, really talking with Jonathan Gerlach between the shows, after the shows, hanging out with him. He says he was a really nice, empathetic guy. He says that he seemed pretty normal for the most part. Yeah, that's him right there. You can see. And that really, he just seemed like someone who was like everybody else in the heavy metal community, just, um, just wanting to kind of enjoy life and had deep conversations, but with being in the heavy metal community, this guy did tell me today, sometimes people are interested in oddities or maybe darker types of things. But what's interesting here is that this guy tells me today, like, he, he Jonathan Gerlach never said anything about liking oddities this much. So all of this is really coming as a shock to friends and people who knew him, people who came into passing. We've seen on social media so many people just saying how much this has shocked them, having come into contact with him either while he's walking his dog outside or, knowing someone who worked with him or seeing him at his with his band performing as a lyricist
Right.
and vocalist for for his band in this area and also the Williamsport area.
And so I know, Maxine, that you were also there yesterday and you were back in Ephrata today. Have you noticed law enforcement there or, crime scene units there, anybody there who's been investigating, looking into this home at all? Have you seen anything that you can share with people?
What I can share, yes, is that there have been police here, just like we saw last night, and I mentioned at the end of my story last night, is that you can see that there was a police officer that, well, you can't see it now, but there was a kind of white car off to the side there that was there for hours yesterday. And there, like you can see the top of it right there, that was it just sitting in the corner. They're kind of blocking where that garage was, and where witnesses had told me they had seen investigators initially just come right in and start taking boxes out. You could see in one of those frames there, they kind of hit it with that white sheet, but we did get a second. There it is, a few boxes stacked right up. And from our understanding, they're continuing to take evidence out of that home.
And from your understanding, I'm not sure if you know this, where is Jonathan Gerlach now? Do we know?
Well, he does have $1 million bond, I do believe. So he is currently in, I believe, the Lancaster County prison. Either way, he is not out and about at this point. Witnesses, neighbors here tell me they saw him get escorted out earlier this week of this home here. We are also under the impression that he was living with someone else. We have not seen that person. We have not heard from that person. We have not seen whether there are even any charges against this person. But of course, there's so much more to this story, Alex, that we are not, privy to just yet. And hopefully, as this develops, we'll be able to learn more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Maxine. And if you guys want to see more about what this story has developed over the course of the past 2 days, be sure to tune in tonight on CBS 21 at 5, 5:30, and 6. Maxine and Lily will be breaking down more details about what they found out today. And thank you so much for joining 21 Next. We will see you tomorrow and next week.